To delete a source, select it.
Did you know you can make animated explainer ads and videos just like this one using Toonly? Normally, Toonly is $468 a year, but right now you can get Toonly for only.
Are you looking for a way to live stream your service with a camera rather than a phone? I got you covered. Stay tuned. So here lately I've been doing some live streaming and people have been asking me, how do you do this? How do you go about setting it up? Is it hard? Is it difficult? I've been live streaming with a phone, but I don't want to go with the phone anymore. I want to use a camera. I want to have a whole presentation system. What can I do? How do I get that working? Is it difficult, easy, whatever? So I'm going to show you how I do it. I do it a very simple, easy way. There's better ways to do it. There's ways that require more equipment, but I don't have a lot of money to buy all that special equipment. I'm doing this for free. So what I'm doing is I'm using a Canon M50. That's what's filming me right now. But today I'm going to show you with a Canon T5i. This should work with any other camera as well, but this is what I'm going to be showing it with today. The setup itself is it looks kind of large, but it's really not. So I have a computer here. This is my main screen that I use to actually control everything. This screen over here on the left, this is what would be the projector screen. It's the screen that's going to be throwing up words that I can then lay on top of my live stream video. And this over here is actually what's controlling the broadcasting software that sends it to Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or wherever you want to go. This one is not necessary, but it is highly recommended to have a third monitor. These are old computer monitors that I've scrounged around and found, and I just got them hooked up with HDMI to VGA adapters, and this is a USB to VGA adapter. That way I can get this multiple setup. So first thing, you gotta hook up the camera. That's where the cables come in. Some cables or some cameras can go with Bluetooth or wireless or connect to your Wi-Fi, but not this one. So you got to use HDMI cable hookup. So I have an HDMI cable hookup. I'm gonna hook this up and then we'll jump over here. Let's go. All right, so we have the camera, HDMI cable plugged into it, and that's into the computer. But before we can get the video off of the camera and onto the computer to be sent to the broadcasting software that then goes to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or wherever, you're gonna have to have some additional software to pull the video off of here. So it doesn't normally just do it as soon as you plug it in. You have to have some stuff. So because I'm using Canon, I'm using the Canon EOS utility. If you don't have it, then you can go to Canon's website, search utility. I just Googled Canon utility, and it's going to pop up this screen right here. And then you can just scroll through all the camera models and pick the one that you have, download that, and install it. Now, as soon as you turn on the camera, once it's plugged in, it will pop up automatically. And from here, what we need to do is click Remote Shooting. And then the next window, you're going to choose Live View Shoot. And there we go. We got our live view. Now, obviously, you can see how there are these grid marks on there. So down here at the bottom, little button right here, the focus points, you can turn that off. That way you can show the live feed without showing where your focusing grid is. Now, I'm just gonna set this right here. We'll zoom in on something nice. There we go, how about that? Nice road camera in the background. You need to know that at this point, my camera is not recording. I don't even have a SD card in the camera, but it's still sending that feed to the to my computer, so we're good. So from here, this window has to stay up. Now it can be in the background, but you can't minimize it because we're about to send this feed over to OBS which is the broadcasting software that we're going to use. So you need to download, if you haven't already, download OBS. So it will pop up automatically. And so I have an HDMI cable hookup. I'm going to hook this up and then we'll jump over here. Let's go. All right, so we have the camera, HDMI cable plugged into it, and that's into the computer. But before we can get the video off of the camera and onto the computer to be sent to the broadcasting software that then goes to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or wherever, you're going to have some additional software to pull the video off of here. So it doesn't normally just do it as soon as you plug it in. You have to have some stuff. So because I'm using Canon, I'm using the Canon EOS utility. If you don't have it, then you can go to Canon's website. Search utility. I just googled Canon utility and it's going to pop up this screen right here, and then you can just scroll through all the camera models. The Canon EOS utility. If you don't have it, then you can go to Canon's website, search utility. I just googled
late! Did you download Grammarly? Come on, man. Everyone.
Today we are testing out some wireless video transmitters. These are made by Kusun. How do you say that, Sam?
Axonon.
We should probably know this. This is how you properly pronounce it.
Oxun.
Ah, yeah.
Oh. These were sent over to us from our friends over at B&H Photo, the place where I get all my camera gear online. They're fast, reliable, and I spend way too much money there. B&H also has this credit card where they actually refund you on the tax. So thank you, B&H. We're giving away one of these. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna test them out, and I'm gonna keep the one that I like better, and you guys can have my leftovers. Aren't I so generous?
The most generous of all.
You guys don't know how much I have to pay Sam to say that.
A bag of hot Cheetos.
Now the reason why I'm excited about these is that at some point or another, once your crew, your video productions get bigger and bigger, you start requiring a wireless video transmitter. And the thing is, right now there's some great wireless video transmitters out there, but they are expensive. And I've been talking to the guys over at B&H because they told me that for the price, the performance of these are pretty legit, and this has HDMI and SDI. It's supposed to have, what, 1,200 feet of range. Of course, that's gonna be in a very clean environment. It sends a 1080p signal up to 60 frames per second, so that's cool. And it's supposed to have latency less than 60 milliseconds, which is actually really good. Obviously, the best latency would be 0. But again, for anything with 0 latency, you're gonna be paying probably like 8 or 9 times the price. And on top of the typical transmitter and receiver, you also have the option to hook up to these with an app. So let's say you want to send this over to your first AC, they're pulling your focus, but then you have a few people like clients that just kind of want to see what the camera is sending out, so they can go ahead and download this free app and log in and get a general reference of what you're recording. And B&H was nice enough to send us also the smaller one, which is going to be less range, and it's also SDI and HDMI, but instead of having a receiver, this is more designed to be used with an app. So let's go ahead, hook this stuff up. So here's something I've never done before, taking a Canon C70 and making it into a live stream setup. So basically these can receive a signal from a camera, and with my phone's 4G or 5G signal, stronger the connection the better. I'm gonna now be able to upload it over to YouTube and then start a stream. And look at the live stream. So I could actually share this link with whoever. I could either go live with it, or I can send it over to Dylan, or if there was a director on the other side of the planet, they can technically check in on our live feed and tell us what to do differently with the shot. Isn't that cool? Should we just live stream this bird?
Yeah, ask good questions.
You know, I've never live streamed before, ever. Is our first and possibly only live stream ever gonna be a seagull?
I wouldn't want it any other way.
Okay.
I'll pretend to be the bird. Hold on.
Hello and welcome to the bird watching channel with me, the bird. I just be chilling out here and waiting for some fish.
This is kind of crazy. I'm seeing all these comments pop up. Holy crap, a bunch of people are logging in. Okay, what do we do? I'm nervous. I've never done this before.
Yeah, ask me anything you want to know about Gene and Dylan, and I'll answer it as best as I can.
Hi everybody, I'm testing out my very first live stream ever. That's just about wraps it up for our very first live stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you got lots of value from our 35 seconds of standing here not knowing what the hell we're doing. So thanks again, and how do we end this thing now? I'm too nervous to do this.
Da-da-da-da-da. This is the end of the vlog. Is it over?
Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Anyone who actually tuned into that, I apologize. That was terrible. We had no preparation. The live stream stuff is crazy. It's like instant feedback. It's like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't handle the pressure very well, as you can see. Felt like one of the scariest things ever. I like being able to edit, and in case I say something stupid, I like being able to cut it out. So yeah, but we did it. We've live streamed before. That was the very first time. What I do think is cool is that you can stream it as unlisted, and you can send a link over to your clients or anyone that's like on the other side of the world that just wants to see what you're shooting.
Can you direct the whole movie from Japan?
Yeah. What I didn't realize is that YouTube actually uploads the whole stream, which included 15 minutes of me going like, is this thing on? Like plugging it in, like, how's it, can you hear it? Is the sound check? Mic check. All that got uploaded. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Dude, did your adrenaline shoot up when we went live?
Dude, that's why I'm nervously laughing right
I don't know how you guys do that. Like all this, I know I can cut it out, so it's easy. But as soon as we went live, like I was like, I can't cut any of this out. Like, and then like I locked up and I got scared, and then the 15 minutes of just is the audio sound check? Oh gosh, all that, I can't handle this. Let's get our together and come back once we do a little bit more prep. So we got it hooked up, so I'm seeing myself through this monitor, which is always a little bit weird. But I like it when they allow you to just slap a battery straight onto here, because usually I'm trying to figure out, okay, how am I gonna make sure I get P-tap powered over to the transmitter? Another thing that's really cool is we're feeding this signal over to the transmitter via HDMI, but we can cross it over to an SDI on the receiving end. So you can go ahead and use HDMI out of this end or SDI. So it's also kind of like a conversion if that's something you need. What is nice, screen, then you can't pull focus, and if it's a dolly shot or something, you're screwed. Like if you're a client or set design, even if the screen cuts out for a second or two, it's not that big of a deal. But first ACs is really important. So this is dual band 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, which just gives it more strength and more reliable connection, especially if you're a few rooms over. What else would you want in a wireless video transmitter?
I don't want it to lag.
Exactly, latency, that's important. Now this claims under 60 milliseconds of latency on average. So that's on average. Sometimes it's gonna be less, sometimes it's gonna be more, but on average, it's gonna be less than 60 milliseconds, which is pretty good. Here's the thing, even when you have something that's zero latency, you will be dealing with a little bit of latency. Even the LCD on the back of this screen has about 60 to 65 milliseconds of latency just on the camera. That's so little that you can't really tell. And then I hooked up the camera directly to the monitor with an HDMI cable, and I had about 135 milliseconds of latency. Now that extra latency might either come from the camera outputting or the monitor itself.
That's more than the good amount of latency, right?
Well, 135 milliseconds is this long. It is there, you can kind of notice it, but that's what people usually just deal with. Like literally without using a wireless transmitter, you plug the camera into the monitor, you deal with that much latency. So 135 is kind of our baseline, our control. And then I fed it through the wireless transmitter, and then I was dealing with about 180 milliseconds. So it did add roughly around 50 milliseconds of latency. So now the total is about 180 milliseconds, which is about this long. So I don't consider the Wi-Fi to be as reliable as the dedicated receiver, but when the connection's good, it's pretty solid.
Can I stop now?
Just a few more, please. Again, latency, it's there, and if you really need there to be zero latency, you can, but you're just gonna have to front a ton more cash for it. I wanna say a majority of people
Have you been having a difficult time hooking your Canon 80D up to Camlink? Well, stick around. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. My name is Aaron. For those of you who don't know, I do stream live on Twitch every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. And Saturday. So if I don't answer anything in this video, feel free to stop by, check it out, or ask me any questions that you might have. Links will be in the description below. To start off, you're going to need a few things to hook up your Canon 80D to a Camlink 4K. First thing you'll need is the Camlink 4K. You can get this off of Elgato's website, but because of the corona pandemic, right now they have been hard to come by, so you might have to buy them from a secondhand source. The second thing you're gonna need is gonna just be your base Canon 80D with any stock lens kit, and then you'll be ready to go. We do need two other attachments for this setup to work correctly and efficiently, so let's switch over and I'll show you what those are right now. One of them is going to be an HDMI to mini HDMI. This will plug into your camera. This side will plug into the Camlink 4K. And then I just recommend a constant power supply for your Canon 80D. You should buy a Canon branded constant power supply. However, I have used off-brands before in my Canon 80D and have had no issues with it. Your mini HDMI will plug into the typical HDMI port on the Camlink 4K, and that will go into a USB 3.0 on your PC. I also wanted to show that the mini HDMI will actually plug into this HDMI out in the side of the camera, and that's what will go into the HDMI in on the Camlink 4K. So just in case you get confused, that is where it will be in relation to the 80D on the camera. So now that you have all your parts plugged into your camera, into the Camlink, into the PC, you can now open up OBS or Streamlabs OBS, and you can set up a new scene and you just add Camlink as your camera source, and then everything should show up. However, the first time you start a scene using Camlink in OBS or Streamlabs OBS, it will look like this. This isn't ideal, but it's extremely easy to fix with just the click of a few buttons. So in order to get all of these taken off of your image, it's relatively easy. So to get rid of all of those extra pieces of detail that we don't need and to get a clean HDMI out, there's this info button. Once we click this info button once, twice, maybe 3 times, it will actually remove the amount of data that you see on screen coming into your new camera source. So let's click that a few times and let me show you what that looks like. So on my first click of the info button, it pulled up this. We don't need that, so let's click it again. Second click, it took it all away. So the only bad thing about the Canon 80D is you will not be able to use autofocus with your lens without getting rid of this white box that you see in the middle. So in order to get rid of this white box, you do have to switch it over to manual focus, so we will not be able to use autofocus on the Canon. So let's try and get rid of that right now. In order to get rid of the focus on this camera, you'll actually see on the lens there's 2 separate switches here. The bottom one is image stabilization, that's fine to keep that on. And then the top will say AF or MF, which is autofocus or manual focus. We just want to make sure that we switch that over to manual focus. Now that we've switched that over to manual focus, you can now see that it might look blurry. You just have to adjust the focus manually on your lens, and you're good to go. So now that you're all set with your clean HDMI out, no additional information on the screen, there's really only a few honorable mentions that I have left. One thing that I have noticed with Canon 80D is a purple screen when you start up your OBS or your Streamlabs OBS and you turn your camera on. I've found I've been able to remedy this situation just by turning the camera off and turning it back on again. If that doesn't work, I'll unplug the Camlink 4K, and that usually resolves the issue as well once I turn everything back on and hook everything back up. The only other thing that I'll mention as well is if you go into your menu, you will want to go to your power settings and you will want to turn off an automatic timeout, otherwise your camera will turn off. And as long as you're hooked up to that alternate power source, you should be good to go. I really do hope that this video has helped you. I hope you've been able to set up your ADD.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to quickly show you how you can set up your Canon 80D with. Actually, I need that up. Let me pull that up because I need to be able to see the camera menu. There we go. So let me get it to where the wrench. Go to the wrench.
Looking to take your Canon 80D and add it to Zoom with clean HDMI out? That's what I'm going to show you how to do in today's video blog. Hi there, internet fans. My name is Ryan Perry, and I help business owners harness the power of video to market their business. Now, everybody, it seems, is going on Zoom, and one of the best ways to improve the video quality is by incorporating a Canon 80D. And there's a couple of reasons why I specifically chose this camera, which I actually have set up here. And you can see on this side is my Zoom screen, and then over here is actually a piece of software we're going to use that's going to give us that clean out. Here I have my Canon T5i. I'm just going to use this as a reference, but I'm going to be speaking about the Canon 80D. Now, why I go with the 80D is for a couple of key reasons. One is the fact that we can put a prime lens on there, which is going to allow a shallow depth of field, which when I get on the computer, you'll see what that is and why that really boosts the quality of your video. Additionally, it's going to let more light in with a prime lens. The other thing that I love about the 80D is that it has great autofocus features. Now my T5, I could do the same thing with, however, it's constantly hunting in and out of focus, and it's just really annoying watching the camera just constantly, even though it's locked on my face, it's shifting in and out of focus. And the other reason show you what's going on. The other thing that's already happened is I've mounted my Canon on a tripod or a bracket, however you need to do it on your end, and then I've connected on the side port. There is a USB